always, I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. All right, now let's move on to our next toxic woman. So I call this couple How to Ruin a Marriage in 10 Days. Because Amanda. I mean, if coasting in life was a person, it would be her. Who else on Bravo has literally done so little, yet has gotten so much, other than her and Ciara? Because Paige even gives, Paige will give. But Amanda does nothing. Now, the reason why I'm saying she's going to ruin her marriage is because I actually think that Carl is a really great man and is a really great husband. I think he's been branded as this sort of Kyle, oh, Kyle's drunk and Kyle's selfish and Kyle is this, that, and the third. I actually disagree. I think he's a very kind and funny and ambitious, good husband. I think he's a really good husband and a really good person. And what he's saying is, I'm building this brand, Loverboy, not for myself. Because when she was like, he was like, oh, you think I'm working, and her line was like, you're being selfish, or like you're thinking about yourself. He was saying, I was thinking about us. And she said, you were thinking about yourself, which was totally not true. And that's why he went off the deep end and was like, she's such a bee, and I can't believe I have to babysit my wife, and why do people think that's okay, and blah, 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 blah. And in my opinion, he was 100% spot on. Because you are now married to this man. And he has said publicly, his company lost $3 million like 1 or 2 years ago. In the first 6 months of when they were filming, I hope it's doing better now, they had lost $1.5 million. He is the only investor in this company, and he took out a $4 million personal loan. And he is telling you that they are drowning, that they're losing millions of dollars. And you have the audacity to look this man in the face and be like, I want to find my purpose. And, Paige said this and Ciara said this. And I don't know, like maybe I'll do like a swimsuit line. Amanda, if I was Kyle, I would have been like, and here are your divorce papers, sign them, and I'll see you later, sweetheart. And then she also had the audacity to be like, let's buy a big house in Jersey, and let's get this huge house. And, Amanda, shut up. Are you delusional? Your life partner, your husband, has a $4 million loan debt, and his business is losing millions of dollars, and he is doing everything he can to make it successful, not for himself, but for you and these imaginary children you want to have one day. And you have the audacity to look this man in the face and say, you're selfish, you're thinking about yourself, and I want to go off and have a passion project? Girl, bye. If you were showing up in the company, because again, I believe Kyle. Do I think Amanda put up some of her money? 100%, but this is now your husband, and this is the company that you guys are building together. I think that's totally fine. If you are in a long-term committed relationship and this is your husband, I know she probably put it up before they got legally married, but they're husbands now, but they're husband and wife now. That's fine. And that's not something that you should hold over your partner's head as sort of like ammunition against them. That's extremely manipulative. I put in this money. I did this. So how dare you ask me for anything else? How dare you question me? That's very, very manipulative. That's actually a form of emotional and mental abuse. If you are doing something with your partner or for your partner, you should do it. Whether it's giving money, whether it's investing money, whether it's whatever it is. But then don't throw it in their face because you're not getting what you want. That is a manipulation at its finest. And also, Amanda, you need to stop taking advice from girls who don't have what you say you want. And I don't mean, because some people are like, oh, if you're married or if you're in a relationship, don't take advice from single people. I don't think that's true. I think you could be in a relationship and take advice from a single person. Or, if you want to be married, don't take advice from, or that. I don't think so. For me, don't take advice from someone who isn't happy with the conditions and circumstances of their own life, whether they are married, engaged, single, open relationship, swinging, whatever, whatever floats your boat. For me, I don't take guidance or advice or words of wisdom or even feedback from someone who I don't believe is fundamentally content with the state of their own life. I don't mean the circumstances of their life, like whether they're married or this or that, not that. I mean that they are not fundamentally content, because the key is, I want the secret to how they found the happiness, because happiness shows up differently for different people at different times in life. The fact that Paige is running her mouth about Kyle, who wants Amanda with him and wants to run the company and is totally in love with her and all of this stuff. Paige, who is, in my personal opinion, in a fake showmance, and we're going to get to her and Craig. Don't worry about it. Why are you listening to Paige, who by all accounts never grew up? This was a grown woman on TV talking about, my parents still pay my rent, which is totally fine, because you guys know me. I think if you could have a trust fund, you have healthy parents and they are generous and they want to help you, knock yourself out. But it's the attitude you have around it. It was a very entitled, very pretentious type of situation. So I'm like, you're not even fully self-sufficient yourself. How are you giving her advice about being fully self-sufficient? You're not happy in your relationship with Craig. There's been rumors that you've cheated on him. And again, I'll probably repeat this when I get to them. But you're taking relationship advice from Paige? I'm confused. And don't get me started on Ciara. I don't think you have an identity out of Kyle and Loverboy. Well, you're damn right she doesn't, because she is a wife. And she is, the wife of the founder, and she was working with him in her company. Now, I get the sentiment or the understanding of, I also want to have my own sense of self, that I'm not just a wife. I'm not just a partner to my husband. Obviously, I understand that people still want their own sense of authenticity and agency and their own sense of self and their own sense of individuality, 100%. But the problem is they're conflating the two and they're misrepresenting the situation. Kyle was not saying, I don't want you to be happy or fulfilled or purposeful or whatever the case is. He was saying, we as a unit, as a team, as husband and wife, our marriage is in trouble. He said he felt lonely in his marriage. He asked her to go to couples counseling and she laughed in his face. And he clearly said, our marriage is not in a state to bring children into it. And she dismissed him and belittled him all the time. So he's saying our marriage is not stable enough for this. And two, our business is not stable enough for this. Like I said, a couple years before, they lost $3 million. Just before they went into filming, they lost $1.5 million. He has a $4 million loan debt, which, wake up, sweetheart, you're married to him. Depending on the prenup, that is also your debt, Amanda. So you better be doing your little designing and merchandising and figuring out some flavors for Loverboy, because that $4 million defaults, you're on the hook too, boo-boo. Okay? You're on the hook too. So what Kyle was saying was, in the key areas of our life, our marriage and our business finances are so unstable that I cannot fathom you being like, well, now I'm just going to go do a bikini line or design something or have my own thing. That is what he was saying. But Amanda is so weak-minded that she let Paige, who literally is just a glorified influencer's daddy's little girl, spending mommy's money chick, which is, again, fine in and of itself, but am I really going to take life advice from that particular situation about the situation I have? Probably not. Probably not. And Kyle made a very good point in the after show where he was like, I was talking to Paige and Ciara about the business and telling them how it was struggling. And they were just like, oh, well, just don't do it anymore. Just let Loverboy go. And he was like, oh, they really have no idea, the stakes of what it truly means to own a business. And like he said, he's like, I have over 30 employees. Those are families. Those are people who just had babies. Those are people with mortgages and rent to pay. Those are lives that he is working to help and make better, and they're just like, well, I'm just gonna go model and I'm just gonna be an influencer and I'm just gonna take pictures. I'm like, just let Loverboy go. Like Loverboy, and even in the show, they're like, well, Loverboy could tank any day now. And he's like, Loverboy is tanking. Like that was the thing. He was like, listen, we are suffering in every aspect of our lives right now. And for Amanda to be so flippant and so dismissive, like he's being selfish, he's not being selfish. And remember, he got mad, he hit the door and he was like, you act like I work for fun. He's not out there dipping it and doing it for fun. He's out there hustling because he wants to get, and this was another thing where I realized how uneducated Amanda was. She was like, I thought the purpose of a business was to like sell it. But here we are. Amanda, earth to Amanda. The reason why Kyle is working so hard is because in order to sell the business, and he has to be able to turn it and make a profit. If your business is not profitable, if your business is losing money the way he says it is, then he's not going to be able to sell said business at a margin and a profit that probably would clear that $4 million debt. Because if he sells Loverboy, it has to be valued at more than the $4 million, because he's going to have to then recoup all the fees for how much money he's already spent, the $4 million loan he already had. Like Amanda needs to go to business school. Because when she was like, I thought it was to sell it. Yeah, you sell it when you can flip it. It's like real estate. You sell it when you can flip it for a price. Businesses that sell when they're like bankrupt or they're not doing well, they're selling it to mark it off, not because they're actually able to turn a profit. Wake the hell up, Amanda. Ding dong. And then you want to talk to him about, oh, let's go buy this big house and let's get all these dogs. And I just want a passion project, when he was like, are you on planet Earth? And that's why he said, it's not okay to babysit my wife. You're damn right it's not. You are a grown adult. And his $4 million debt, sweetheart, is your $4 million debt because you work so hard being his booty call for years. To be honest with you, you're just kind of the girl who stuck around. And I think he grew to love you. And I don't mean that in a mean way, Amanda. That's just what I saw. That's just what I saw. So, and then taking advice from Ciara. I'm going to get to Ciara. Who is taking romantic advice? I will take advice from Ciara if I'm doing a photo shoot. Or I wouldn't even take advice from Ciara for fashion styling. I don't think she has good fashion. I don't think Paige has good fashion. I don't. I think Paige has just gaslit us into believing she's fashionable. But when you actually look at Paige, she's a hot mess. Paige is not fashionable. Amanda is fashionable. I will give Amanda that. She's fashionable and she does have a very effortless, cool vibe about her. Amanda's fashionable. Amanda is cool. I'm going to give her that. But when it comes to your marriage, you're going to ruin it very quickly. Because if my husband comes to me and says, I am lonely in my marriage, I'm worried that if we move and get a home, I will be so isolated. He basically said, I don't want to move to the suburbs because I will be cut off from my support system and what makes me happy. AKA, I'm worried if we move, I will be so isolated, I will be depressed. And he also said that their marriage and their relationship was not a well-functioning enough to bring children into it. So he was like, I don't want to buy a house to put a Band-Aid on a much bigger problem. And then he also told you he wanted to go to therapy, and you laughed in his face and said you should go by yourself. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. And they also are, what do you call it? They're rewriting history too. Because on the show, they were selling it like Amanda was going to start her own business, this bikini swimwear line. That's how it was being sold to Kyle. I want to do something that's mine. I want to design. I want to be creative. I want to start this business. And he was like, our business isn't working. How the hell are you going to start a business when our current business is losing millions of dollars? But then on the after show, they tried to spin it like, well, at least Paige and Ciara. And again, this is how you know how dirty Ciara and Paige really are and how misery loves company. This is how you know how dirty Ciara and Paige are. Because on the show, they were hyping Amanda up. Oh, I just see you being so, cool and this creative director and designer and having your own brand and doing your own thing and being, girl boss and blah, 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 hyping her up like you should do it. Right? And then on the after show, these chicks were like Kyle wouldn't even let Amanda have a hobby. Like she couldn't even have a hobby. I'm confused. Are you hyping your girl up to abandon her husband and the business that they were building to start her own company, her own line, only to now say it was a hobby? You see how dirty your friends will be? That's dirty. Because I thought you were hyping her up to have her own brand and her own business. But then behind the scenes, you're laughing at her and being like, even if it doesn't work out, even if it fails, at least she's doing something. And, she just wanted a hobby, just something to make her happy, just a hobby. Did you tell Amanda to her face that you thought her designs would be a hobby? Did you say that to her face? Or did you wait till you got to the after show with your two little mean girl act and basically was saying, if it fails, her little hobby, let her have her little hobby? Excuse me. If I am like, I am a designer or I am a writer or I am this, and this is what I make my career off, and my alleged best friends are hyping me up. Yeah, Candy, you can do it, girl. You got this. Build your business. You're so creative. You're so smart. Stop doing what you're doing with your husband. Do your own thing. But behind my back, you're like, yeah, that's a cute little hobby. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. It might fail. Whatever. That's a cute little hobby for Candy to have. You see what I'm saying? How dirty that is? And the gag is this. This is the gag. Ciara and Paige, our little miserable mean girls, were trying to act like the fact that Kyle was like, I want to do stuff for myself too. I want to have, I want to be a DJ because he loves music and, he loves cultivating a vibe and all that stuff. Kyle's great. He's a vibe. Kyle's great. He's a hype guy, brings the music, creates the ambiance, all of that, right? So he was like, I want to be a DJ, this, that, and a third. And they all kind of laughed at him like, oh, Kyle, like whatever. He wants to be a DJ. What a man-child, blah, 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 blah. And the whole thing that Kyle was saying about Amanda is that she has no follow-through. She just kind of wishy-washy, doesn't really go start to finish. She has no follow-through, and she's not really serious about anything. So why take away the little bit that you are doing for the company for something that you're not going to do anyway? And then the gag is, it turns out Kyle has now started DJing. He's taking classes. He goes and does DJ lessons, and he'd be like, okay, babe, now I'm going to go work on my DJing. And to me, that is called self mother effing care. He realized that, you know what? You're going to sit here and play in my face and act like I went into $4 million debt for myself when I'm doing this to be able to flip this company one day so our family doesn't have to worry. Because that's what Kyle is trying to do. He's trying to build generational wealth. That's why he's being the entrepreneur. That's why he's the only investor. That's why he's waiting for Loverboy to be so profitable that when he does sell it, he will flip it for a bigger price. That to me is just like business 101, duh. But little ding-dong dimwit Amanda isn't getting that. And she's letting miserable, mean girls, Paige and Ciara, run her marriage all the way down to the ground while they're laughing at her at the after show with her little hobby, right? I'm so proud of Kyle. I think he realized, you know what? I am really stressed out doing all this. I actually do want to do something for myself. So he's still running Loverboy, doing what he has to do, building up the business. And now he has his passion project, and now he is DJing, and he's doing something for himself, and he's being fulfilled by it. Amanda, where is your fashion line, Amanda? Can I see a sketch? Can I get a sample? Are you collaborating with Beverly Beach? Dorit, are you collaborating with Beverly Beach by Dorit? Are you guys doing a collab? How dreadful. A fashion show with no fashions. What have you done? And don't say you don't have the time, because Kyle already let us know you ain't doing nothing at the company like that. And when I say that, I want to be very clear. that I am by no means dismissing the investment money that she gave to Kyle while they were building up the business. By no means am I dismissing the designs and creativity that she has done for the company. By no means. You could be not showing up today, but you had showed up the day before. You see what I'm saying? So just because I'm saying to her, you need to step it up in the business, where is this passion project? Because you clearly have time on your hands. You're doing TikToks with Ciara all day long. Why don't you spend that TikTok time getting some designs, getting some sketches? Because the gag is, if you actually focused and you used all of the blessings you have, you probably would be a big designer, because you're clearly creative. You have a man that supports you. You are on Bravo. You have one of the hugest platforms in the world. You have a social media following. You clearly could actually do something, but you're not doing a damn thing. And that's what Kyle was saying. That's what Kyle was saying. He's like, well, you're not doing anything really in the company, and now you want to take your time away. Where is it, Amanda? Where's your fashion line? It doesn't have to be swimwear, but what is your side passion project that you felt the need to emasculate and belittle and disrespect your husband about? Because no chick in this world could ever come to me and disrespect my husband to my face, and I'm going to co-sign that and then go disrespect him right along with y'all. That little cackling, that Paige, and you don't respect her and you're so selfish. And Amanda was just like on board, like, no, not never. Even if I agreed with what you were saying, never in life would you catch me in public disrespecting my husband and co-signing my so-called friends, disrespecting him too. Absolutely not. I would ride for him all day long. And then when we go home, I would be like, okay, baby, we got to talk about this, this, and this. Let's go through everything. Let's talk about it. Let's get on the same page. Boom, boom, boom. But if I really love this man and this is my husband and we're building a life together, I'm not talking about somebody who's legitimately abusive. Kyle clearly is not. So I want to be very clear. I'm not talking about someone who legitimately deserves all of the smoke in the world. That's a different conversation. That's not Kyle. Kyle is working himself in the ground to build a business for his wife, Amanda, and the children that they are going to have one day. You see what I'm saying? To me, Kyle is actually a really great guy. He seems really caring. He seems really fair. And to be honest with you, I knew Kyle was like 100% for a long time. But what really made it so clear how good of a man he was is the level of care he is taking for Carl. When Carl was in his lost years, showing up at Loverboy, we all know the deal, what Carl was going through, the demons he was dealing with, the issues he had. Then he was with Lindsay and bad-mouthing Loverboy, quitting the job and all this. Him and Kyle are beefing, this, that, and a third. But when Carl came to him being like, I'm in a much better place now, I'm sober, I realized the mistakes that I made in that situation. I'm owning it. And and also because Carl also had lost his brother, was going through all of that. And for Kyle to open his friend back with open arms and being like, let's make sure our friendship is good. But hey, man, let me help you get on the right track. Let's do, non-alcoholic beverages. Here's your, monthly stipend, retainer, whatever it's going to be. This is how much you're going to get in sales. $2,000 an event. That's great. I would love, who wouldn't want to get $2,000 just for showing up? Come on now. Come on. Per event or whatever the case is. I got you. When a lot of people, the majority of people would be like, oh, no, Carl, now you come crawling back. I thought you were better than Loverboy. I thought this, that, and the third. You wanted me to be the flower boy in your wedding. That's it. You clowning me, blah, 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 blah. You left. You said this. You said that about me. Blah, 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 blah. No, you can't come back. I'm not going to have your back. Da, 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 da. People are petty and hold grudges. But the fact that Kyle created a position for his friend who is in need And again, I think also because Carl has done so much work, he is sober, he has a clear mind, and he has contrition, and he took accountability for the role he played in the demise of their friendship at one point and the demise of their business relationship. I think because of those things, any decent person would be like, yeah, let's give this a chance again. You know, we're best friends. You're my boy. I got you. And to me, that was so like that gave me like the warm and fuzzies. You know what I mean? To have somebody who has your back like that, that's a real man. That's a real man. And Kyle, to me, listen, Kyle, I saw you on Watch What Happens Live and the mullet is gone. So, no, I'm kidding. You're married. I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke. I'm not like that. No, I'm not like that. But what I'm saying is, like, seriously, because that was just a joke, obviously. Seriously, I do think that Kyle is a really good person. I think he's a fantastic husband, and Amanda needs to wake up before she messes up a good thing. And I think that he's a really great friend. He's a great son. He has a great relationship with his parents. You know, Kyle, to me, is a really great person. Do you know what I mean? A really, really great person. So that's kind of where I land on Amanda and Kyle. Amanda, my advice to you is stop taking advice from so-called friends who are unhappy in their life. I don't mean single. I mean unhappy. Because there you could have a friend who is married and who is unhappy. I wouldn't take advice from that person. Find somebody who is happy in their life, whatever their life looks like, but they have found happiness. So then they can give you guidance and advice from a place of objective love and compassion, and not based on their own jealousy and insecurity and wounding. That's what I say. Find someone who is content and happy to get your advice from, because they will look at your situation objectively and also with no jealousy and with your best intention in mind. Because at the end of the day, I don't actually think Paige and Ciara have your best intention in mind, not necessarily because they're bad people, but because where they are at in their own life, they are only going to see situations through the lens of their own wounding. Find somebody who is healed and happy to talk to and to mentor you, because then they're going to see you objectively. They're not going to see you through their own insecurity. And that's what I think is really going on. And a little bit of sabotage, because when people are unhappy, misery loves company, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, they probably want to see your marriage fail. They probably do. And I'm going to be honest, they probably do. They probably do want to see your marriage fail, because the advice they were giving you and the way they so freely disrespected your husband wouldn't be my friends. But like in their words, good luck with your little hobby, because that's what they were calling your creativity, a hobby. That's basically what they were saying. Okay. That's what I'm going to leave them there. So let me know what you guys think. Put it down below. In a second, let me take a quick drink. Okay, I'm back. Now let's move on to Ciara and West. I'm calling this segment Wounded While Dating. And the sad part is it's not West who's wounded, it's Ciara. Ciara, boo-boo girl. Was it